How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. That's right, I'm here. Beautiful Kauai, Hawaii, on my rocking chair. I realize if you're watching in Twitch or YouTube, it's a little bit washed out, but you know what? It's the ambiance. I want to make sure everyone can see the palm tree, hear that bubbling brook in the background, the swimming pool. And we're here for a fun day today on the program. Because it's Tuesday, you know what that means? That means tonight we have got NXT 2.0. And boy, what a show we've got for NXT 2.0. We can tell you the lineup for that show here today, but also, because it is Tuesday, and you know what that means, we've got the Raw report from last night. Raw was the Fallout show from the Elimination Chamber, and yesterday was President's Day, so we haven't even talked about Elimination Chamber. I presume everybody knows what happened on the show. Maybe you don't, maybe don't watch WWE, but we've got several matches announced for WrestleMania thus far. Not the least of which is Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, champion versus champion, title versus title. We have Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. We've got Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. And yes, we have got a match, Rey Mysterio and Dominic. He will be facing Miz and his mystery partner. We'll get to that as we do the Raw report later on today. Because yes, we do the Raw report here on Tuesdays. We can tell you about that, as well as, yes, we finally have brackets for the Women's Dusty Cup. They managed to find 16 women, I guess. It's an 8-team tournament. Going to be a hell of a tournament here. Ring of Honor, fourth individual announced for the inaugural Hall of Fame class. We'll tell you about that. Drake Maverick back with the WWE. Kurt Angle talks about the storyline that never was, and so much more. Back in a moment, everybody. Observer Live.
Good job, dude. This is it. It's in this box. This is the very first newsletter that was ever written. I have it in the Bible here. This is where I keep it. I actually keep it pressed between the pages of the book of Job, because Job and I have a lot in common as far as being tested by the Lord each day. This is the Flying Mare. This newsletter was written, as you can see right here, in the 17th century. This was actually written by my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Perfecto. And that is damn true. This dude wrote this thing, The Flying Mare, containing a perfect collection of the proceedings in wrestling and true information from the armies. There's even a picture of Máscara Año 2000 here on the back, before he'd had his first main event. This thing is a treasure. This thing is gonna be. I'm gonna sell this to a museum someday. This is like the Gutenberg Bible. This thing is epic. Hey Vince, what the hell are you doing? Don't. Hold that. Vince. God! Vince, let's just go. I thought we would start the tour of the inside of the facilities with the most important room in the house. This is Vince's kitchen. This is where Vince cooks my chicken tenders, my buffalo chicken wings, my mesquite chicken, my teriyaki chicken, basically all the chicken. And of course it's got here the microwave. And of course here the oven for my oven roasted chicken, shake and bake. Of course it's got all the grill here, whatever on top, all the buttons that you cook with. And of course we've got the fully stocked fridge and freezer. Basically all the amenities that one would need to cook for me. And in fact, now would be a good time for a chicken breast.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Twitch homies complaining about the crotch cam. Fine, you got the leg cam now. What's going on, Mike?
What's happening? How's your vacation going?
How was your President's Day? Did you celebrate all those presidents yesterday?
I did, much like Bob Backlund would like. I went and named them off all in order before I could give and get autographs. Remember when he used to do that gimmick? He actually did that for real, kids. Forget about all these nice wrestling superstars now. No, Bob Backlund, if you wanted an autograph, would make you recite all of the presidents in a row before he would bless you with the ability to have an autograph from the former World Wrestling Federation champion.
Well, you know, it's funny. I won't make you recite all the presidents to be blessed with a cameo by myself. I'll do it for the low price of $35. Man, all I've been doing is cameos, having the time of my life. So if you want one, F4W Online on Cameo. But that's another matter entirely. We got to talk about this. We got to start with Elimination Chamber because we haven't talked about it. The show was 2 days ago. Did you guys watch it?
No.
Actually, it was 3 days ago because it was Saturday. My wife was just flabbergasted they were running a show on a Saturday. But here's what happened in case you missed it. Roman Reigns beat Goldberg in 6 minutes with the dumbest finish that... Speaking of cameo, by the way, somebody wanted me to do a cameo burying Reddit. And I didn't really want to do it because I don't have anything against, Reddit as a whole. It's just every now and then I'll go on Reddit and I'll see that there are certain people on Reddit that are actually profoundly stupid. So I did the cameo, and apparently it's up on Reddit now. But the point of this is, so the finish of this match was Roman Reigns beating Goldberg with a guillotine after Goldberg, in the guillotine, rammed him into the corner, grabbed the ropes with both hands, but Roman's held on, and then Goldberg fell down and ended up going unconscious and lost the match. So I was watching this, and I was thinking, how in God's name was that not a rope break? Right? He rammed the dude into the corner and grabbed the ropes with both hands, and the ref was just like, whatever. And Roman held on and then beat the guy. So I was informed, okay? And this was after I did this Reddit cameo, so I wish I would have known this before I did the cameo. I am told that there are people on Reddit who try to claim with a straight face that the rule is that you have to hold onto the ropes for 5 seconds before it counts as a rope break. Can anyone really actually be that stupid? Can you help me here? That's not the rule. The rule is that when you touch the ropes, it's a rope break, and the other guy has 5 seconds to break the hold or he will be disqualified. Right? I realize there's no real rules in WWE, but am I wrong here? How many times have we seen a guy crawl to the ropes and they put one finger on the ropes and that counts as a rope break immediately? So anyway, the finish was stupid, but Roman Reigns beat the Goldberg. We had Bianca Belair winning the Women's Chamber. They had a 15-minute chamber match because, they wanted the show done in 2 hours and 50 minutes. And so they had to rush all of the matches because we got to make sure we get all the video packages on. So Bianca beat Alexa, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash, and Rhea Ripley. Alexa Bliss is still a schoolgirl, so all the therapy didn't work. And, of course, the payoff to the therapy was she had to carry the doll everywhere to remain cured. And then she goes to Saudi Arabia, and she doesn't carry the doll. Because why would she? That's ridiculous. So Bianca won, and it'll be Bianca trying to get a revenge on Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Naomi and Ronda Rousey, with one arm tied behind her back, beat Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Sonya allegedly had a broken arm, but then she realized that she didn't have a broken arm because these people are so stupid they didn't realize that just buried Ronda Rousey's finisher. It's actually not a very good arm bar. Sonya was pretending that her arm was hurt. But Naomi and Ronda Rousey won. Ronda Rousey facing Charlotte at Mania. Drew McIntyre beat Madcap Moss. Falls Count Anywhere. It was a good match. Madcap landed right on his head, which is the most notable part of this match, unfortunately. And apparently, allegedly, they claim he's okay. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But Drew McIntyre won after literally attempting to decapitate Happy Corbin. He was almost decappy Corbin after this match. Waited all weekend for that one. Becky Lynch beat Lita. Match was better than I expected. 12 minutes. Lita got the big pop for the Twist of Fate and the moonsault. Becky kicked out of her finish and then just hit her with her finish and pinned her. That was the end of this match. Usos beat... Actually, they didn't beat the Viking Raiders. They beat up the Viking Raiders. And we had no match. Both teams flew all the way to Saudi Arabia, 36 total hours, so they could do an angle. Because we have to make sure we have enough time for our video packages. And in the main event, Brock Lesnar beat Lashley, AJ, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth Rollins when Brock Lesnar F5'd and pinned AJ, Theory, Riddle, and Rollins, all like geeks. Bobby Lashley was taken out due to an alleged injury, a head injury. He actually needs shoulder surgery because he was dropped on his shoulder 15 times at the Royal Rumble. They told us afterwards that he was fine. That sound familiar? Turns out he wasn't fine. So it is Lesnar and Roman Reigns, title versus title, champion versus champion at WrestleMania. And that was a show. It was a very by-the-numbers show. It was just there. There was nothing horrible. There was nothing great. It was 3 hours on your Saturday morning. And, Mike, what did you think of this show?
I thought it was a very pedestrian show, like you mentioned. It was very surgical, much like their house shows are. 2.5 hours in, boom, and out. The issue with this one, it was, obviously, with the Viking Raiders not being on there, they didn't get their times right. And they show those video packages. We see them every single week get compiled and be added to with what happened the week before, and they beat them into the ground, and I get it. There are probably people that only watch the pay-per-views and the special events, so I guess it gets those people caught up on what's going on, but they're so superfluous if you even watch a full show, leading into the pay-per-view, you know everything that's going on. So it is way too much of that. But those Saudi shows, they are a lot of big names. People come back, they flash it up and everything, but it really is just a way to kind of boost things to get to what actually matters next. And what actually matters next, obviously, is WrestleMania, which I've heard is stupendous this year.
Yeah, it's stupendous. That's the gimmick. By the way, some fella here goes, I'm just showing off on my vacation now. Listen, I went to Hawaii. You want me to just be in an empty, blank room? Like, what's the point? If WWE ran a show on the moon, okay, would you like them to be in a giant glass bubble where you can look out and actually see the universe for this special show on the moon? Or do you want to put them in a regular arena and just set it up like every other Raw so it doesn't even matter? They go to Club Lavella and build an arena so it looked like every other show. They did this show by the pool. That was the point of this show.
You're rubbing it into everyone that you happen to be in paradise while you do radio shows.
Yeah,
and
I am in
work
paradise.
Over and over.
I paid a lot of money for it. You think I came here free?
And you're working.
I am working. I'm giving you a show. This show's free, by the way. No one's even paying anything for this one. I'm giving you a free show from Hawaii, and this bloke's complaining about it. Get out of here.
Stop giving us those legs for those of you who are actually watching this right now.
No, you're going to get them legs.
Ugh. My God. Gray hair on those, too. Look at that.
No, there's not.
Mm-hmm.
They're you know what it is? It's my body is so tan right now that...
Is that it?
The hair looks white. Wait till the Bryan Alvarez show tonight. I talk about the whale watching trip that I went on. I'm on a very padded seat right now. So anyway, tonight is NXT.
No.
Tonight is NXT 2.0. Yeah, I sat on the wooden part of the boat, and it was a speedboat. And I bounced up and down on that boat for 2 hours. My ass is so flat right now. Oh, my Lord. And then poor Paisley vomited over the side of the boat. Got seasick.
Thought you were going to say something like you got hemorrhoids or something. Then you said the wood.
No,
I thought maybe you got like a
like
splinter.
But I did learn that before you go on a speedboat, what you don't want to do is get 2 scoops of ice cream and an extra supersized cupcake. I had a rough first hour on that boat. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
We've almost reached the pinnacle of the tour, but this is one of the most important things. This is the computer. This is the workstation where I do the majority of the actual physical part of putting Figure 4 together. I do the writing here, the editing here, of course the phone calls, even the microphone here when we used to do Wrestling Observer Live, which has since died. And in fact, I better put the screensaver on here so this doesn't get burned in the screen. But putting the newsletter together, people understand, it's a lot of hard work and dedication, like 2 to 3 hours per week sometimes I have to spend on it. And, hold on a second. Figure 4, who's this? Carl Thorillo? Yeah. Yeah, hey, listen, can I call you back? I'm doing something here right now. My fridge? Yes, running. Hello? Anyway, this is, like I said, computer, got the TV here, this is pretty much the place. This is going to be a quick tour of the trophy room. This is actually my trophy case. It's made of mahogany, very expensive, but what is worth far more than the case itself is what is inside, and that is the medals from the various sports and the accomplishments that I've achieved during my lifetime. This first drawer here is my gymnastics medal. Here, I got state and such. These are my Taekwondo medals. These down here, amateur wrestling medals. And down here are the 26 medals that I won in the 5-kilometer walk down to the Bothell Landing over the course of the past 5 years. And, you know, I realize that I'm a 4-sport superstar right here, and some people, you know, it might bother them that they haven't had such achievements in their life, but I think that the whole point is that you can achieve anything. You know, if you can make a great pie, you can win the pie eating contest at the Puyallup Fair, and I don't know, hell, if you can eat a good pie, you might win the pie eating contest as well. So there's achievement in this life for everybody.
Yeah, look at this guy right here. You paid for this with our subscription money. Well, of course I did. You think I robbed Hawaii? You think I stole this trip?
No. This wasn't some of that sweet Sports Illustrated money?
Bro, if you work at the library, you're not allowed to enjoy your vacation because you paid for it with money you made working? And this guy goes, we paid for this vacation. Yeah, you did, so here it is. Would you rather I was in an empty room? You paid for it, so I'm showing you what it looks like.
Man.
Now, let's talk about the news.
I think some people are just hoping trickle-down economics would work out a little bit better, you know. Some people.
What is this, the 80s? What are we
went through
having?
this
Tensions
before.
with Russia or something?
Maybe.
All right, listen.
So
Tonight on NXT 2.0, we have got the debut of Nikita Lyons. You guys know who Nikita Lyons is? She's Lacey. She's the new Lacey Evans. She's their latest woman that has 15 gimmicks. She is a pop star. She is a kickboxer. She is a twerker. That's what I got out of the video. And also a wrestler. She's got like 4 gimmicks. She debuts tonight. We've got Dolph Ziggler versus Tommaso Ciampa. The winner gets Braun Breaker in a championship match. So that should be Ziggler. We've got LA Knight versus Grayson Waller. I feel like they've built this up for a while, but I'm not that into it. And then we have 2 matches for the Women's Dusty. Are you guys aware of the brackets for the Women's Dusty? I'm going to read them to you, okay? You're going to think that this is like some cameo bit, but these are the actual brackets, okay, for the Women's Dusty Classic. Io Shirai and Kay Ray versus Lash Legend and Amari Miller. Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Ivy Nile and my new favorite name in NXT 2.0, Tatum Paxley. Where do they come up with these names? That's a new one. I'm going to have fun with that one for a while. Tatum Paxley is this person's name. On the other side of the bracket, we have Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada versus Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. Wendy Chu is a babyface everybody loves. Dakota Kai is a heel who talks to herself. And Wendy Chu naps. That's that team.
Well, hey, look,
And
you've said it many times. You got to get these people ready for the main roster. That's what this NXT 2.0 is all about. Wacky relationships. How many times do we see that? Tag team partners, can they coexist? Can Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai coexist?
No, the question is, can Dakota Kai coexist with Dakota Kai? That's going to be the issue here, because she talks to herself. Which, by the way, that makes it a 3-person team. That's not fair.
Maybe she can be the special guest referee for Damian Priest and Finn Balor. They can all have their, issues amongst themselves, within themselves.
And then we got Yulissa Leone and Valentina Faraz, who, based on what I've seen so far on the show, are also twerkers. There's a lot of them in this tournament. They will be facing Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. The funniest storyline in all of NXT is Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. You want me to recap it, everybody? Have you been watching the show? Okay. So Raquel Gonzalez, she won last year, right? Am I wrong about this?
I think she did.
Yeah, it was her and Dakota, right? Am I wrong, everybody? No one knows? Okay, anyway. So Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez, I believe, won last year. And then this year, Raquel Gonzalez wanted absolutely nothing to do with this tournament. She doesn't want to be in the tournament. She doesn't want to team with anybody. She wants nothing to do with the Women's Dusty, okay? Cora Jade wants to be in the Dusty, but she's a loser that has no friends. Nobody wants to team with her. So she is trying to convince Raquel to be her partner. Raquel's like, you're a skinny geek. I don't want to be your partner. This is not happening. So Cora says, well, I'm going to prove that I am not a skinny geek. I'm going to prove that I'm a winner and that the two of us could win this tournament together. So she challenges her to a match, okay? So they do this match, and Raquel Gonzalez beats the bloody pus out of Cora Jade. She obliterates her, and she pins her with a choke bomb clean in the middle of the ring like a geek. And then Raquel goes, you know what? Now that I think about it, we might make a great team. That was proven in this match where I just squashed you. So now they're going to be a team. But now, as it turns out, Cora Jade is lazy and weak. And if you think I'm making any of this up, I swear to God, watch the show. So Raquel goes to Cora's, by the way, tiny little one-bedroom apartment, because no one's a star in NXT 2.0. She goes to her tiny little one-bedroom apartment at 5 a.m., and she wants her to train. But Cora Jade's character is lazy. She doesn't want to get up and train. So Raquel has to drag her out of the house. She has to force her to exercise. We got to go running. She wants her to do push-ups and all this other stuff that they do. And, of course, Cora Jade wants nothing to do with this. And Raquel makes her suffer. And then at the end, Cora Jade, like, sarcastically goes, I can't wait to do it again. That is the storyline for this team in the Women's Dusty. So, of course, they're probably going to go to the end. And I presume lose. I don't know who's going to win this. I mean, it's a bunch of makeshift teams and green folk. Who do you think is going to win this, Mike?
Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez.
But here's a problem with your theory. You may be right, but here's a problem. Raquel was never even going to be in this tournament. Raquel was going to go to the main roster, and, like, they couldn't come up with women, and so they're like, God, we got to bring her back for a while. So, literally, she's part of a makeshift, unplanned team. She could still win, but, I mean, if they had a plan, God forbid, she would not have been in the, that wouldn't have been in the works.
Look, ultimately,
like,
I think all of this is going to end with Raquel Gonzalez defending her belt in a three-way against Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. And that belt probably, in my opinion, should come off Raquel Gonzalez, and she, at some point, right after WrestleMania, say, should be up on the main roster. I mean, that would make sense to me. I don't know what else she's doing down there. The storylines they have going on are a whole separate issue, but I would figure that's probably a good direction because she's just spinning her wheels. And Io Shirai, I know people will say, well, God, why isn't she up on the main roster? Yeah, I would like to maybe see her there too, but she can serve a lot of purpose. Same thing with Kaylee Ray being around this roster that desperately needs to be led for. I mean, look at the people that are in this tournament, for heaven's sakes. Lash Legend is in this tournament.
Yeah, Lash Legend and Amari Miller.
Well,
Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. That's her name.
Why? Why
ridiculous.
are JC Jane and Gigi Dolan not in this thing?
They're the champions.
So?
Because the winner of the Dusty Cup gets a title shot.
Oh, is that it? Okay. I honestly completely forgot what the stipulation. I thought they just posed with the Dusty Cup and you honored the dream and, there's going to be the obligatory shot of him in polka dots, even though he hated that, and there you go. Who knows? Maybe now this year, though, the way this thing has been strung out for so long, maybe Cody can be there and present the cup to the winner of the Dusty Cup.
Drake Maverick. Remember Drake Maverick? Remember they fired him, and then he did that, might have been a cameo, actually, and then they rehired him. And then they fired him again, and now they appear to have rehired him again. Drake Maverick reportedly back in WWE under a creative role. PW Insider reported Maverick, real name James Curtin, has been working behind the scenes on Raw on the creative team starting 3 to 4 weeks ago. He was released by WWE in November as part of the talent cuts. What an unforgiving job this poor bloke's got right now. But you know what? He's got a job. So, best of luck. Drake Maverick's super nice guy. And, what?
Jeez, what a sad world we live in where it's like, congratulations on having a job, man. It's sad.
Well, it is. He's been fired twice.
Sad state of affairs.
Of course I'm going to congratulate him on having a job.
I don't know if I'm congratulating him on going back
and you know
to
what's
the place
happen?
that fired him
By the way,
twice,
Mike,
homeboy. Look,
hey,
I would congratulate him more
if this guy gets his job
spot.
And he keeps his job for like 5 years or whatever, and he uses the money earned in his job to go on vacation, you know what I'm not going to do? Mock him. Yeah, Drake, but you earned this money at your job. You horrible person. How dare you go on vacation with money you earned?
Don't buy a house, Drake. Don't do it. Things are always a little bit touchy for you. Let's see how long you last this time
Well, no, if he can buy it outright.
Well, no, hell no. Why do you want to do that in a place that's fired you twice? You know what I'm saying?
If he pays for it outright, it doesn't matter if he's fired. It's paid off.
It's a matter of just using the expression.
You know anything about money?
Jesus.
Kurt Angle has explained the storyline that he was recently supposed to make his return to the company for. He stated on an episode of his Kurt Angle Show podcast last month he'd been contacted by WWE to return. It was a 3-week program that was dropped at the last second. Maybe you should have a word with Drake Maverick. It said here that he was going to be involved in the feud between Alpha Academy and RK Bro. He would be the special guest referee for a match between the teams at Elimination Chamber, but the matchup didn't even end up happening at the pay-per-view. You know, he could always still do that. refereeing gig. I guess they figure, we may as well pay him. We didn't cut a deal, he said. Whole program got canceled the last second. Yeah, so it never happened, he added. In case you were concerned about what that meant, that it got canceled the last second. That
Thanks,
means
Kurt.
it never happened. It's unfortunate, but, sometimes they have different plans for these guys. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, we're going to do a break, and you know what's next, everybody? Don't touch that dial. Raw Report. Live from Kauai, coming up next, Observer Live.
Here we have the meditation room. This is a room where I send Vince when he misbehaves, when he cooks my chicken, when it's undercooked, or whatever the problem is. It's only got two things in this entire room, completely empty, save for a chair right here, which you'll notice is made of videotapes. Unfortunately, there's so many tapes in this house that I have no room for furniture, so I did the next best thing, which is make a chair out of tapes. And he comes in here and he sits down and he reads. And I only allow Vince to read one book because I realize that what you read and what you believe is what you become. And that is The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill. This book was written in 1928. This book is over 70 years old. But the important thing is the message is just as vital today. And while Vince will probably remain a lackey the rest of his life, it's good that he reads this and learns of the basically the 16 laws which helped me become the success that I am today. And if you ever get a chance to pick up this book, it is amazing. As you can see, night has fallen, and we've pretty much worked and toiled all day long. And, one of the secrets to my success, and I've mentioned this many times today, many different secrets, but one of them is more time for recreation and just hanging out and doing whatever. And so, we're going to be taking a trip down to the recreational facilities where the pool and the basketball court, basically everything else is stationed. And recreation is also one of the ways that Vince and I managed to keep our bodies in, one of the ways that I managed to keep my body in such superb shape. So that's the next stop, is the recreational area. Here we are in the workout area. Everything a person would need to get in perfect physical shape. Got the, the bench press machine right here. Have the leg press machine right there. We've got the, what the hell is that? Got the lat pull down machine right here. And I suppose since we're here, we might as well work out and do the, can you do 210, Vince? I could move it up to 110 or maybe 2, okay, go. Let's go. Pretty good. Is it 8? 7. Okay. Let's go play basketball.
Is here. Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. I always love all these guys that are like, man, if I got fired from the same place twice and they wanted to hire me again, I'd only do it for a significant signing bonus. I'm sure Drake Maverick's going up to Vince and going, I know you're offering me a job, but brother, I'm not doing it unless you pay me way more. Dude, if you get fired from a job twice and they offer to bring you back and pay you money, you're telling me your preference is to just be broke, not work. Obviously, you could do something else, but like, if Drake Maverick got fired twice and he was offered like huge money by AEW, for example, or whatever, he would have gone there. right? I'm not saying the guy has no other options, but if he was making six figures, let's say he was making $100,000 a year from WWE, and they fired him, and then he was making $100,000 from WWE, and they fired him again, and then they're going to offer him $100,000 to work in creative. You, dear Twitcher, are telling me, nah, not unless they give me $150. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take that money.
Depends on what else you're doing, Brian, because you're not maybe going to max out that entire deal because they'll go ahead and fire you like they did the last couple times around. Then you're stuck
So make
again.
the money until they fire you.
That is, look, that is one way to look at it. You're absolutely right. You don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face, but I think it also comes down to how you leave a place as well and how they treated you on the way out, because there is much like Drake Maverick, we have not, to me, I've never heard of anybody, disliking Drake Maverick or them being a situation where he did something or they did something so out of line in his departure. So it's a lot easier to come back. Now, for other people, if they left and ran their mouth a lot and did a lot of talk and maybe even started up their own other promotion and smashed a throne and things like that, those people who come back, those are the people that tend to get looked at with a little bit of a different eye, okay? Again, it's how you leave a place, how they treated you on the way out, and what your relationship was like with them. But again, also too, it's his life. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. But
yeah, he wants to work for WWE. He wants to work in creative and make his money. So you should be happy for the guy. It's like someone goes, well, man, why would, let's say they wanted to bring back Braun Strowman, and they're like, we'll give you $1 million. Oh, man, I wouldn't do that unless I got a no cut. You wouldn't go back unless you got, bro, listen. Let's take Drake Maverick.
You're not working
okay?
from a place of strength. That's what the bottom line is. Even Braun Strowman, they cut his money.
Of course you're not. You're working for WWE.
No.
So here's the deal. So, okay, if you believe that WWE can say, we'll offer you, Drake, $250,000 to do creative, okay? And you're telling me that you think that Drake could just say no and go get another job, wherever. Okay, fine. If that is the case, then go and make your check every week on your $250,000 deal, and then when they fire you again, go get that other job that you could have got before. Why would you say no to huge money because you're scared you might get fired? It's absolutely ridiculous. Take the money until you're fired, and then go take the other job that you were gonna take because, I'm not going back unless I get a no-cut deal. It's WWE. Anybody can be cut at any time. They cut Shane McMahon, for crying out loud. You know what you're in for. If you want to work there, go make your money. And if you get fired, then you get fired. But no one is going to hold Vince over a barrel and go, bro, this creative job sounds good, but man, I ain't doing it for this. You got to give me a no-cut creative deal. You just cut yourself is what you did when you make a demand like that.
They wouldn't even bring you back again. These types of things, we're dealing in a fantasy world with anybody that brings this up. Like you can, Cody Rhodes ain't getting a no cut, let alone Drake Maverick coming back. Hey, you want to do some things in the office? No, I can't do that. Come on, man. That's just silliness to think about there. So, I don't know. Done with all that.
This guy here. I'm going to I'll do this one personally. You know what this guy needs?
What's
he
that?
He needs a cameo from me. Anyway, the Raw Report.
Wait, before you say the Raw Report, too, again, just to say this about Mustafa Ali. If he were to leave, get fired, be released, and then go back, okay, that's a situation because of how he has talked about that place, how he is, what his feelings are and wanting to leave there. If he were to leave, go test the waters, then come back because they said, hey, you want to come back in? That would be an issue where somebody can raise some sort of flag or something like that or have something to say about it. But, with Drake Maverick, again, the situation is completely different. And anybody saying they're going to give demands to WWE when they've been on this cost-cutting spree, that's just silliness.
I actually had a guy on there that said that I was a mark and you were a realist in this situation. Bro.
What?
Dude.
Wait. Time out. What is that supposed to mean here?
Oh,
Because
that I'd
there's a
have
lot
no
of things
idea
that can be
how
true.
things work in the real world. Bro, you want to know how things work in WWE? I'm telling you right now. I'm happy that the place you work offers a signing bonus. I'm happy that the place you work gives you some form of leverage. Bro, who's the realist here? Who's the mark? We're talking about WWE. You ain't getting some big signing bonus. You're not getting some no-cut deal. You're going to get a complete and total one-sided contract, and you either take it or leave it. That's it. Golly.
Hey, before we do the Raw report, you want to get into this New Japan Cup?
No.
Raw report.
15 minutes, Dave went over every single match in a 48-man New Japan Cup. It's like, bro, one guy loses that you thought was going to win, and it's all for naught. All right, here we go. Elimination Chamber. We had a long segment with Brock Lesnar that I swear to God was all to announce that he was going to be on the other show on Friday. That's what this was.
Do you like his Western wear?
Actually, I do. I love this new Brock.
Pretty good.
This guy's a man after my own heart. Also, there's going to be this is a good one. So Lashley, they knew he couldn't wrestle, so they just false advertised him for Elimination Chamber and took him out of the match. So now they're flat out false advertising Madison Square Garden. But at least this time at the end of the show, the announcers go, there ain't no chance Lashley's going to be at Madison Square Garden. So Lesnar faces a mystery man at Madison Square Garden that Heyman says could take the title off of him. Who in God's name could this be that they have not buried 6 ways from Sunday? We'll find out on March 5th. We had a Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens interview. They're in the main event tonight. If they win, it will be a 3-way in 2 weeks with RK Bro versus the Alpha Academy. And spoiler, that is exactly what happened. Alpha Academy beat the Street Profits. Match was pretty good. Everybody looked good in the match, and Gable held down Ford's foot after Otis fell on top of him when Ford tried a body slam. Don't try to slam a big fat guy. That's the lesson I've learned after watching wrestling for many years. Unless you have 24-inch pythons, then you maybe could pull it off in the biggest show of all time. Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor beat Ziggler and Rude. This is to build up the Tommaso Ciampa-Ziggler match. I think that Ciampa here is only doing NXT, and they just did this to kind of build up the match. But he did totally dye all of the gray out of his beard, so maybe we'll be seeing more of him on the main roster. We had a Miz TV segment where they announced that Miz's partner at WrestleMania will be Logan Paul. These dummies figured out that this guy ain't going to be a babyface, so he's total heel. And they beat up Ray and Dominic, gave them both skull-crushing finales. And should be a pretty fun, simple match. Tons of heat for Miz and what's his name? Logan Paul. So, you know what? I know people are going to disagree with this, but I'm liking this Mania card. I mean, maybe I'm the only one that's, observing Observer Live right now, but I kind of like it. We had Rhea Ripley beating Nikki Ash because they have absolutely no idea what to do with anybody, so they were like, let's do this match for the 50th time. Rhea won, 2 minutes. Damian Priest beat Shelton Benjamin. This is just classic WWE. Shelton's a hometown guy, so let's put him in a match with Damian Priest, and A, we'll beat him, and B, we're going to get Damian Priest booed, but we don't want him booed, so we're going to have him cut a babyface promo after the match. But they still booed him because he beat Shelton Benjamin in his hometown. And then afterwards, they announced next week it's Finn Balor versus Damian Priest for the North American. No, what is this? What belt does he have? United States title. It's not the North American title. 24/7 segment. They had a great segment last week. And it turns out somebody had a bright idea for Valentine's Day. And then they were like, we got to figure out how to get it back to the boring stuff that we were doing before. So Reggie comes out, and he wants to apologize to Dana Brooke, and he lays down in the middle of the ring to let her pin him, but she covers him, and he kicks out. Because apparently his character's like a total jerk now. And so then he lets her do it again, and he kicks out. Now she's getting really mad. And so he goes to do it a third time, but she kisses him, and he's so smitten that he gets pinned. So Dana is now the useless 24/7 champion again that nobody can do anything with because she's a woman and they're all men. Except Tamina, but they won't allow them to touch. So, whatever. I mean, it was kind of creative, but they just undid all of the Great stuff they did last week. We had a Bianca-Becky segment. Bianca was absolutely a superstar in this segment. She's just the greatest. And this led to a match with Doudrop, a match I liked. I like these Doudrop matches. They had a good 11-minute match. Second time they've done it. Fans got into it at the end again. And Bianca did a bunch of power moves, pinned her with a KOD. I like this a lot. And it's the classic WWE booking, you know. Babyface has to beat a giant leading to WrestleMania. Which I know people were suggesting that Brock's opponent could be Omos. And I don't think it's impossible. Because I expect that on March 4th, Vince is going to wake up and say, well, give me the Big Show. And someone's going to have to tell him that Big Show's the other company.
You know why that also works,
what?
too? You know why that also works, too? Lesnar doesn't really have to work a full match. You get the visual of all the social media coming out of that, of him doing that to Omos in Madison Square Garden. So, you know, it's not maybe the greatest idea in the world, but it's certainly one that's going to get you some buzz and attention.
Then we had the Edge promo. Edge came out, and by the way, twice here on the show, they dropped hints for Cody. Miz said that his partner was going to be dashing, and Edge mentioned undeniable, both references to Cody, neither of which got absolutely any reaction whatsoever from this crowd.
Undeniable Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, remember he went from what was it, something to undeniable?
No, he was when he was Dr. Doom there, when he was ugly or whatever, when he broke his nose. That era of Cody.
Well, they had the dashing era. I thought undeniable was like his new undesirable to undeniable. That's his new catchphrase. So anyway, the point of this is, like, I'm not saying that Cody will absolutely mean something for WWE, but I think people do need to remember that we got totally different audiences here. And this hardcore WWE audience, you know, they stand up for WWE. They ain't going to be sitting here getting these inside jokes. In fact, if I recall correctly, there was also an MJF reference on Raw a while ago, and nobody reacted to that one at all.
Remember how you were talking about the rules and how they don't matter with the rope breaks? Because a lot of WWE fans don't care. They care about so many things that the most passionate fans care about. Most other wrestling fans are complete opposites. And when it comes to Cody, for a lot of those fans, he was still the dashing guy. He was Stardust the last time around. And for some of them, what he did in AEW may not actually matter whatsoever.
And finally, we had Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens beating Randy Orton and Riddle in a very good main event, which means that Rollins and Owens have been added to the match. It is now a three-way in 2 weeks. And that's your Raw report. We'll see how it does back on USA. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Here we are in the basketball room where we play lots of simple basketball games such as horse. Usually, you know, if we get 12 friends together or however many team we play a game. But today, it's horse. Thanks, God. And you're going to get to go first because I am a kind giving boss. Or we can play ass. Play a game of one-on-one instead. You know, aside from the obvious recreational facilities that we have here, I also like to use some of the facilities for my work. As many of you know, part of my job requires me to watch tapes from around the world. Mexico, Japan, you know, different wrestling from different parts of the world, and write about it and review it. So therefore I've created this here, the media room. Got the projector, we got the big screen right here, and aside from using it for work, I also use it because Young Vince here, as some of you might know, is an aspiring pro wrestler, and he's had a few matches under his belt. And as a grizzled veteran of the ring wars that I am, I like to come in here, watch the matches with Vince, give him pointers, critique him, help him out, and basically show him what he's doing right and what he can do to improve on. So we are going to watch, as a treat to you, this is a Super Chico tape, one of Vince's matches. So we'll get that thing ready to roll here. What are you doing?
Is here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Wrestling Observer Live. Huh? See that thing? By the way, this afternoon, normally Lance is on at 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern. But that's changing today. It'll be... Oh, man, how am I going to figure this out? It'll be... He's going to be on at 2 o'clock Hawaii time, which is 4 Pacific, which is 7 Eastern. Did I get it? Huh?
I think so.
I think I did get it. So that'll be live for our top-tier YouTube subscribers, so make sure you check that out for all of the shows. And then Vinny and I'm not sure what time we're going to be on tonight, but check my Twitter at Bryan Alvarez, because Vinny actually is taking a red-eye out of Hawaii tonight. His flight is like at 11 Hawaii time, which is
Bridget going too, or is it just Vinny out of there?
Pacific. No, she's going. So they land at like 6 a.m. Pacific tomorrow morning. Holy smokes.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're out of here tonight. Rodney's out of here tomorrow. And then we'll be here till Sunday. So you'll have more on-location shows. Although we are moving to a different place after tomorrow. So I'm going to have to figure out. Mike may be doing the show tomorrow, because our checkout time is right when this show ends. So I have to find out how militant they're going to be. Are they going to send folks here to lock the doors right at 11? So anyway, we'll figure it out. But I want to thank all of you for listening here today. Yeah, even you guys on Twitch. Top-tier YouTube subscribers, all my friends and enemies. Check out my Cameo F4W Online. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.